Today, we'll be talking about a gay newspaper called Capital Gay. Capital Gay was a free weekly gay newspaper published in London, founded by Graham McKerrow and Michael Mason, and the first publication was at the end of June 1981. The aim was to provide a news service for London and Brighton, particularly for users of the growing commercial lesbian and gay scene. McKerrow and Mason actually met at Gay News, which is another gay newspaper, but once that ceased publication in 1983, they decided to, give Capital Gay to other locations in England until another sort of gay nationwide newspaper came about. However, this never actually happened because a lot of the new gay newspapers and magazines only really catered for and focused on gay cisgendered men. Capital Gay also did a lot for HIV/AIDS awareness and was the first newspaper in the world to run a weekly column on AIDS, first written by Julian Meldrum and then by Tony Whitehead. And Capital Gay is also credited for being the first publication in the world to use the term HIV. Looking at some of Capital Gay's newspapers online, it's clear that this was just a very standard newspaper but just catered towards the queer community. Like, they would run articles about music, about sexual health, about cruising grounds if you're cheeky like that. Also, having job adverts and talking about upcoming queer events and meetings. Unfortunately, in 1987, the headquarters of Capital Gay got firebombed, and in an interview, McKerrow said that when he saw the damage, he thought that this was the end of Capital Gay, and this was actually brought up in the House of Commons by MP Chris Smith. And when he brought it up, a Conservative MP stated quite right too, due to her intolerance of the queer community, which is absolutely disgusting. And, the people who committed the crime never got caught. The police didn't really open up a full scale investigation. They said that, they asked around and no one saw anything, and that was the end of that. The last publication was in June 1995, and this was ultimately down to, competition from other gay newspapers and gay magazines. However, their work, especially during the HIV/AIDS crisis, will never be forgotten, and that's exactly why we will speak about Capital Gay in LGBTQ History Month.